Hello. India-Maldives ties are undergoing a reset following Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to the island nation, marking a strategic gain for India amid China's growing regional presence. Ahead of Modi's visit, we spoke with former Maldivian President Mohamed Nasheed, who shared his views on the improved relations and their significance. He also apologized for the India Out campaign. How do you assess the current state of affairs, relations between India and Maldives under President Moisu?
Well, thank you. First, thank you very much for having me. You would have recognized that President Moise, Dr. Moise, started government that did not have good and amicable relations with India. But it was very clear to us that President Moise had to pursue a policy, a legacy policy that was there in his political party before he won the elections. But as soon as he became president, he has rapidly changed his policies. And now we are glad that it is in alignment with India. And we are again able to have very amicable relations with India. It's very important for us to be able to plug into India's rapid development. India is now one of the largest economies in the world with over $4 trillion of GDP. And we also do understand that India doesn't want this prosperity in isolation at the expense of its neighbors. And so we are definitely very pleased that relations have now again come to become more favorable. But we also know India is broad-shouldered and thick-skinned, and people say all sorts of things in different quarters. But you maintain your line and length, and then therefore you win. And now both our countries win because we have a good, amicable foreign policy that aligns with India.
Okay, President Nasheed. Was the India Out campaign in early 2024 necessary because it has hurt so many Indians and in a way it has spoiled the relations between both the countries? Do you think it has affected the Maldivian nationals in any manner?
It was very embarrassing for us also. This was not the wider sentiments of the people of this country. I keep saying this because, look, the Maldivian Democratic Party, we have a pro-India alignment. And we win elections. And we won more votes than any other political party with all the other parties combined. So it's not a sentiment of the people of this country. And, I am pro-Indian and people still, I'm sure a vast majority of the people still support us to do what we are doing, to say what we are saying. So it's very, very unfortunate and it's also very embarrassing. It's very sad for us. We have so many good Indian friends throughout, its different social spectrums. And there's amazingly good people-to-people relations. We read the same books, we watch the same films, we eat the same food. We are the same people, and it wasn't nice at all. We are very sorry that went on during the election period. I hope that this doesn't happen anymore.
Happy to hear that from you, President Nasheed. I hope that clears the air now. India has historically played a key role in Maldives' security. Do you think Indian military personnel should be a position there, they should continue there? Or is the decision taken by President Moisu good enough? What is your view on that?
In 1988, the plot, People's Liberation of Tamil Eelam, a terrorist group from this organization attacked the Maldives. And, we fought back and we were able to hold on till India came back and flushed the coup. But no terrorist organization should think that they can actually take over the reins in the Maldives. So for us to be able to have that weight, there must be agreements with India on safety and security. And I don't see, I mean, we live in an interconnected world. And I mean, I can't see any country that doesn't have some form of foreign military presence in that country. I mean, I really don't see any country that, and especially for small islands, it's important that we have a wider security arrangement that goes beyond our own capacity. Because we know that there are threats from all over the place, not only from sovereign states, but also from terrorist organizations. So it's, in my mind, it's very important that there is clarity on is our safety and our security and clear understandings with India.
President Nasheed, you were the first democratically elected president of the Maldives. How do you look at the democratic progress of your country since then?
Well, I think we've done fairly well. We've been able to transfer power 4 times through the ballot since 2008. We've had 4 presidential elections, and they've been okay. We've had 4 parliamentary elections. We also had 4 local council elections, and I think we've done excellently on that. Beyond that, in 2008, when we first had our first multi-party elections, our national income was just 7 billion rupiah. Today, it's over 30. We were able to introduce a taxation system. We were able to introduce a social protection program. And we were also able to go into debt, especially because the international capital markets were open for us. We had access to the capital markets, and therefore we went into debt. Now the debt to the capital markets is a big issue, and we have to be very mindful about that. We still have to deal with the debt. But in terms of freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, I think we kind of are doing better than many other countries. You would remember that not many Islamic countries are able to have functioning democracies. People have argued that democracy is not compatible with Islam. But Maldives is a good example to say, no, that's not true. The Arab Spring countries since 2009, none of them have been able to have proper elections other than Tunisia, I think. Now, why? Because we did not topple the government on the streets. We engaged with the international community. We engaged with India. Our engagement with India while we were in exile was very, very, very strong. And through our friends, Britain, India, the United States, European Union, and many other countries, we were able to impress upon President Gayoom the need for democratic reforms. We were able to amend the constitution. We were able to have free and fair elections. And then we formed the government. We did not topple the president on the streets, even though we had many opportunities to do that. So I think, we've been therefore able to consolidate our democratic gains. We are glad that we are able to do that. Of course, there's a lot more to be done. In terms of building institutions and building capacity, there's a lot more to be done, but we haven't done that.
Fair enough. President Nasheed, you have been a strong advocate for climate action. How serious is the climate crisis in the Maldives?
I tell you, now Maldives is much safer, looks much safer than bigger countries. When we were younger, we were hearing news from Bangladesh every monsoon, how many people died after a storm. My God, now we hear the same story from the United States. So we hear the same story from other industrialized countries. How many people are losing their lives because of bad weather and storms and climate change challenges? Yes, the coral is bleaching. The ocean acidification is increasing. Global temperatures are rising. And because of that, weather patterns are changing. And we must adapt for that. We must rapidly adapt for that. But our mitigation efforts is not going to change climate change challenges. But our adaptation measures can save us. And so we have to spend more on adaptation. It's very difficult now. Most of climate vulnerable countries, we are spending about 20-30% of our income, national income, on debt repayment. And after that, we have very little to spend on adaptation. So we would like to see more funds coming in from developed countries on loss and damage. We would like climate issues to be in the forefront of the international agenda. And I like India. Well, India is not doing bad on what they have to do, especially on energy transition and their nationally determined contribution. So I would like India to continue along those lines. India is a member of the Solar Alliance, and it can help many countries on energy transition. Indian investments in climate projects to climate vulnerable countries, I think, would benefit both India and the climate vulnerable countries and the Maldives.
Thank you, President Nasheed. It was an honor talking to you. Thank you for sparing the time and talking to the week. Thank you.